Obviously, the first one that comes to mind is Paul Wertico, because he was the most recent, and he taught me during the most critical years of, my growth process as a musician and a person. I've studied with him for about the last 4 years, and he really, anyone who's familiar with Paul knows that he is way out of the box with his playing and his music, and so he really challenged me as a musician to think outside of just what's in front of you, but think as if you were a part of the storyline that the song is talking about. Or, he tells you as a drum set player to think more orchestral and be more of a percussionist when you're playing and be musical. And so he really challenged me to open up and just be a part of the song instead of, just the drummer that's just keeping time. And then just technique-wise, he challenged me with jazz stuff all the time and helped me with soloing and structuring and all of that. So, he definitely is probably the biggest influence as far as my all-around playing. But Ruben Alvarez, I've been studying with as well. He's a Latin percussionist from Chicago, and I've been studying with him since I was 7 or 8. And obviously, studying with someone who is of authentic Latin genes, it's always better, because you get the authenticity of, is that a word? Authenticity of the style, and then they can instill the feel and the real sound of the music. When I was studying with him in school at Chicago College of Performing Arts, he made us listen to the music and made us in rehearsal get up and dance, and we had to sing and chant, and you really have to live that music and that style to understand really what it's about. And Ruben has a very nice way of teaching and making sure that you understand everything that you're playing and stuff like that. So Ruben Alvarez was a big part of my Latin style. And then Diane Downs was my very, very first teacher, and she is the leader of what's now the Louisville Leopard Percussionists out of Louisville, Kentucky. But when I first started, it was the Fabulous Leopard Percussionists, and she was the very first person to ever put a pair of sticks in my hands. And the way that she teaches is phenomenal. She teaches little kids from, first grade all the way through 6th grade how to play percussion, all by word phrasing to rhythm phrases. So, she'll put something like 16th notes in a song, and it'll be the alligator, alligator crash groove. And, she puts funny phrases, and the kids make up sentences for long rhythmic phrases that could, potentially be tricky to them. But when they hear something that makes them laugh and they remember this funny sentence in the rhythm, it clicks. And then, it's great ear training because there's no reading in the group. It's all learning popular tunes like Carlos Santana stuff and old jazz standards, all by ear. And then she teaches you the blues scales, and you have to solo, and you learn how to improvise at a young age. And so she really started me. She's the one that, put the roots in and the foundation and everything. So she's definitely someone that I don't go a day without thinking about, just because she's instilled to me now the method that I used to teach whenever I teach little ones. I'm one of 6 kids, and all of my siblings, and at some point or other, have been involved or are involved with arts and music, dancing, all of that. And so my parents have always been supportive. I'm the 4th child, so there were 3 before me that were doing it before I was even born. And, from running to dance practice or taking them to basketball or, getting new CDs, all of it, that's just what our family did. And so when I came along and I showed interest in drumming, it wasn't long before my dad, as a musician himself, he played trumpet, before he saw that there was something that was unusual in a 7-year-old, wanting to play drums and having, a natural rhythm. And so he's always been very, very supportive. And my mom as well. They were very supportive, always drove to rehearsals, always, motivated me to practice and listen to all different kinds of styles. I was 7 years old jamming to Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin and Robin Trower, and you know, that's not a typical that's not a typical 7-year-old, you know. But yeah, I mean, my dad is my manager, he's my drum tech, my roadie, you know, he's my supporter. He motivates me every day to work hard and learn new things, and he's studying now just as much as I am about drums and music because he loves music himself. So, I mean, our relationship is great. We've been going at this since I was 7, so, you know, and it's still only just the beginning. We were just talking about that yesterday, how, you know, it seems like we've been doing this forever, but I'm still only 20 years old, and, you know, there's a whole lifetime ahead of me of just great opportunity, and it's definitely, I mean, it's not always, you know, a perfect life and stuff like that. You know, there are different things where, you know, he may think something and I may think a totally different thing, and there's little spats, but, you know, that's you know, that's life. But it's never, there's not a day goes by where I don't, you know, thank God for what he's given me and blessed me with. And my dad is definitely something that, you know, I wouldn't be here at this point in my career without the support of my dad. So it's been great. My first run with the Peace, Love, and Drums show was my junior year of high school, I believe. And that was when I really started teaching younger kids. And I've always been told, you know, even from people that are, you know, double my lifetime in age, I've always been told that I was very inspiring, you know, to watch and be around. And so I made it a goal of mine at a young age to inspire. And there's no better feeling or anything more rewarding than knowing that what you're doing is paying off and someone, at least one person, is enjoying what you're doing and what you're giving to them. And so about junior year of high school, I wanted to put together a clinic show that would travel and go to different schools, elementary, middle school, high school, and just speak to the kids and work with them and perform for them and inspire them to pick up percussion, obviously, but any type of musical instrument, hobby, dance, art, anything, sports, just something that interests them, that they can dream and shoot for the stars. And you know, I really want young kids to know that if they find something that they truly love and it's their passion, to go for it and don't let anyone hold them back. Because as a musician alone, you know, you get told in different accounts that you can't do this or you won't make that, or you know, you get told no a lot. But with me being a woman as a drummer and a percussionist, I've been told no a lot. And I don't like to play the female card, and I don't like to boo-hoo and all of that. But you know, it happens. It's a reality. And I just like to motivate the younger kids to really push for what they love, because if they give their all and they work hard and it's really in their heart and it's a part of them, then they will succeed and they will get it eventually. They'll get everything that they deserve. And that's as far as talking to the children at the show. But I also talk to the adults too about keeping arts in schools. Because, you know, these days with the economy, schools are having to cut back with their budgets, and the arts programs are always the first to go, and I think that they should be the last thing to go. Because without arts in schools, I wouldn't have started, and I know that there's tons of other musicians that wouldn't have had a chance to start playing music without, you know, it being a part of their school program. And so I really stress on the adults to donate music and to do fundraisers and just find ways to keep music in schools for the kids to be able to just go somewhere and be free and just play music and just enjoy life. Because, you know, it's tough out there, and kids need something to run to, and I think music is one of the greatest things out there for anybody to just be able to express themselves. You know, obviously Shure is the hottest microphone company that's out. And, you know, I've always been around live music. I've always been to live shows. You know, I've been gigging for a while, since I was 7. And Shure microphones was just always the household name. That's the main microphone that I saw used. at the performances, in band rehearsals, when people, you know, when you have to mic everything up. Shure was just what was there, and I always loved the sound of live music. It's great having companies and great relationships with the people that you're working with, and being in love with the sound that Shure gives you, and then having a great relationship with the artist rep that's there at Shure. It's just a perfect match. It's a perfect match. And I mean, drums may be the hardest instrument to mic and get sounding good in a live setting, and I've never had a problem with my Shure mics. My kit always sounds beautiful in every you know, venue, big or small, that we use my mics in. So, you know, Shure is the only way to go, in my opinion.